Hello everyone, I'm Brookella and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, I'm Brooke, lovely to meet you. It's been a long time since I've actually done a video, and the reason is I'm busy. I'm in my second to last year of high school, so I'm doing a lot of exams. A lot of all my exam stuff's over there, but it's been a long while since I've done a video, so I thought I'd do one that I've been really hesitant about. I've actually got it all my notes written on this notepad. If I'm looking over here, that is why, because this is a really scary video for me, and I'm not gonna get emotional. I might get a bit angry, but that's about it. And it's something that a lot of people know about, and I'm learning more and more about this. Some of you are probably really confused, but I'm not going to say anything just yet. So no, this video will probably be quite long because I want to take my time with this video, because it is such a big topic, and I feel like this kind of thing isn't heard of. Everyone I've mentioned this to, they didn't know what it was, and I didn't know what it was, so I want to shine some light on it, because I know there's other people out there that have to deal with this. So I'm going to talk about it, and yeah, finally get this video out of the way. So yeah, welcome back, and I will begin. Don't know if I mentioned, obviously things are different. Got braces, had my hair cut, yeah. Also, I met my best friend the other day. Her name's Blue. I met her, really lovely. Gonna meet her again in 6 days, and I think she just messaged. Let me check, because no, that wasn't her. Okay, phone on silence. Very good. Okay, so I'm gonna start the story now. Once again, this is gonna be a long video, so if you do not want to watch it, that's perfectly fine. Go do whatever your heart's content is. I feel like that's too far back. Okay. Oh god. How was that? Oh yes, we'll leave it like this, because why not? Okay, so let's start from the beginning. I don't actually know how much I've said on YouTube. I know I haven't said anything about this, but there's one part of the story that you might know. Okay, so for a very long time I've been having these weird headaches. I can't remember when they exactly started, but I know I was either at home or at school, because I'm never anywhere else. So I started getting these headaches, and they were always on my left. So they'd kind of start here, and then they'd shoot to the front, and then here, and sometimes I remember it would shoot into my eye. So it wasn't a pleasant feeling. It wasn't that bad. It was painful, but it just slowly got worse, and I don't know what it was. Me and my mum tried to figure it out. She was like, is it because you're wearing your hair too tight? Is it because you're on your phone? Is it because there's too much light? Is it because you're not hydrated? And I'm like, I don't know. So I tested all these things. I drank a lot of water in the day, more than I normally would. Still got the headaches. Kept my hair out of a bun or a ponytail. Let it down. Headache. What's the other thing? Went off my phone for a bit and just did some work. Headache. And I didn't know what was happening, so I got a bit nervous. I'm like a hypochondriac, so if I don't have a solution to a problem, I make one up and I panic about it. So I got really nervous, and I was like, Mum, Dad, this pain in my head is just getting worse. Can I go see a doctor? And they eventually agreed. So I can't remember when this is, but we made a doctor's appointment. I went there. They did just really standard stuff. They just checked my eyes, and then that was it. And they were just like, yeah, we'll give you some antibiotics, and then if it's still like this, come back in a week, you know, normal thing. So I was given, I think, I was given Cocodamol, and I was given a lot, but I can't take pills that well, so I was given dissolvables. Although I'm better with pills now because I have to take them. Well, I don't have to, but I need to for when I got headaches. So I had dissolvable Cocodamol, and as you should know, or as you may not know, Cocodamol can be very addictive. It's just one of those types of medicines that people can get addicted to by taking too many, and they gave me like 75 pills and I went through them in 2 weeks. I think why I went through them so much is because it was the only medicine that I could actually take that actually made a difference, because normally I'd have to take liquid medicine like not paracetamol, Calpol, and that made no difference in the headaches at all. I'd still have them. It was a mess. So having these were like a gift. I'd take 2 to school and I'd have them. I could have up to, I think, 8 a day. So I had like, I'd say I'd have 4 a day or something, or 2 a day. I had quite a lot because it's the only thing getting rid of my headaches. I wasn't allowed anymore. I wouldn't say that my family thought I was addicted to them. I think it was the worry that my family thought I would because of how fast I was going through them. But at the end of the day, it was just getting rid of the pain in my head, and then I had to deal with it by myself, and it wasn't nice. So we're skipping forward now a few months, still having the headaches, but this is my last few days before a half term, which is a week off of school. So this is, it's either Tuesday or Wednesday. I think it's Wednesday, so it's no, I think it's one or the other. And I was walking home from school with my friend, and I had a scheduled optician's appointment. It was just a checkup. It was nothing important. I have fine eyesight. My eyesight was perfectly fine, but it was just like a checkup, and yeah, I didn't expect what was gonna happen. So I did the eye test thing where you have one eye shut and whatever, and you read off the board. And then they shine light in your eyes. But I noticed that during this time it was taking quite a while. It wasn't as quick as the one I had before. This was my second ever optician's appointment, and it was really slow considering how slow the other one was. So I started to get a bit suspicious, because I think the last time I went, I don't think I had the headaches, or maybe I did, I can't remember, but this time I was having headaches, and they were taking a long time in my eyes, and then they stopped, turned on the lights, and looked at me and said to me and my mum that yeah, we're gonna run a few more tests. So I just like, okay, and they were like, it seems like you've got some swelling behind your eyes, and I'm like, and they were like, it just looks a bit swollen, so we're going to run some more tests and then we'll see what happens, and we're going to call the hospital. And I don't really know what was going on, so I went on, did some more tests, and then they called the hospital, but we were waiting for like half an hour for them to tell us what to do. And I just remember the woman stood there coming back and forth from the waiting room to me and my mum going, yeah, we're still on hold. So I remember that she came back after a while and was like, yeah, we've got you an emergency appointment for Thursday, which was my last day of school because we had an inset day on the Friday. So they were like, yeah, you are going to emergency hospital on Thursday. No, I think it was actually the Tuesday that I went to the opticians, because then I had the day in school where I was telling my teachers, yeah, I'm not in tomorrow. Okay, so yeah, had to wait a day, then I was going to hospital. Problem was my parents were going to a wedding, and so they went to the wedding, so my sister and her fiance took me. So on Thursday we left at like, when did we leave? We left early, it was like 9 AM. So we went to the hospital and we were referred to the eye clinic. We sat there for a while and then trying to remember how this happened in order. Okay, so we sat in like this waiting room area, then I went off, did some eye tests, again like your standard procedure of eye tests like you do at an optician. So I had my eye tests done and then they were like, yeah, we're taking you. So they took me to this other place, I think, and then in there they sat me down, they put in 4 eye drops, 2 of which were like 4 eye drops, like 1, 2, 1, 2. So the first one was fine, the second one burned. Did some more eye tests, I think like reading numbers, letters, and then I went back into the waiting room, waited a while, then I went to have photos taken. So I put my head on the thing and I had to stay at a Red Cross, and they were like, they took photos, and then my eyesight was pink. It was really weird. I was like really dazed from it because you're so used to like your normal eyesight and everything's just pink. I quite enjoyed it though, considering my favourite colour is pink. So it was fun for the most part. And then sat waiting again. I started acting like a goofball. We were there for like 6 hours in the day. Then I got called into another room. So here was the room. Okay, so I don't know for you. So on the left side, which is this side, they had the room where they did the drops and they did the extra eye tests. And then we had the room there, which is where I went in next. And I went in there, sat down, spoke about my headaches. I think they looked close into my eye. I think they did that thing again where they do that, like they put that like glass thing, like little lens into the thing, and they shine a light into your eye to look behind my eyes. And then they were there for a while, and then they did my blood pressure, and they were like, yeah, we're gonna get a doctor for another opinion or something. And they left. I had my sister-in-law with me, and they were running back and forth, and my sister, who was waiting outside, she was panicking because she didn't know what was happening. I started getting panicky because I was like, oh my god, if they do blood tests I'm gonna cry. I do not like needles, which is really, really funny because of what happens next. And so I was like, okay, I can be calm. So then they said, you're gonna they come back in, they go, you're gonna have to come back tomorrow, and we're gonna send you to the pediatrics, which are like an emergency team. And they were like, yeah, you have got some swelling behind your eyes, so we're just gonna get that checked out. And yeah, so we're going to the next day. So that was like the most cringiest thing I've ever done. But I went home, and then the next day my mum took me to hospital. So we were there really early at 9 AM. We were in the seahorse ward. Loved it. Met the play nurse. She was lovely. I loved her very much. Wish I could see her again. But no, I was in the seahorse ward for children because I'm 14, and I walked in, sat down, then they called me in for observation. So they did some weight, height, blood pressure. Then they were like, yeah, you might need your bloods done. And I was like, what? So they put on, did I have it here? No, I never. I had it on my hands. So I had cream on my hands, and they put on like this plastic sticky thing that you put on, and so they did it on both hands. The most weirdest feeling. And my hands went white from it. It was quite weird. I had it on for like 3 hours, which wasn't meant to happen. So I was called back into the waiting room, waiting there for a while. We took some snacks off the food trolley, and then I did some observation. So I went into the observation room, and did some walking things, but it was really embarrassing because I kept tripping over my feet, so it just didn't work out well. So I did that. They checked my eyes, they checked my eyes, I don't know if I can't remember what they did. I think it was like they did this and like I had to move my head or something, I can't remember, and I had to push something like that. And so I went back into the waiting room then, and then this guy came over with this weird wheelchair. It wasn't a wheelchair, it was like a seat on a pole attached to wheels. That's like the only way I can describe it to you. It was quite odd. And he was like, "This is for you." I'm like, "Me?" I felt really awkward. It was like a really nice thing, but it's just really awkward because I didn't have a problem with my legs and I felt a bit rude. So I just sat down and they started wheeling me off, and then they were like, "Yeah, you're getting an MRI scan." I was like, "Ooh, snazzy." So I'm getting wheeled around and I'm feeling like a queen. And I get pushed into like this sectioned off corridor where they stuck a wristband to my wrist, and I was just leaning against the wall getting a bit nervous. So yeah, I had to wait a while and I started eating some crisps because I was hungry. And finally they were like, "Yeah, Brooke Jones." I was like, "Oh yay, first MRI ever." So I went in by myself because my mum's not allowed in there because of all the raids and stuff. And I remember panicking because I have an ear bar in, but I haven't taken it out before by myself. So I was like, "Can I go in there? It's metal with this." And they were like, "Yeah, that's fine." So I laid down, rested my head on the head holder thing, and started going in and out of the machine. I started to laugh, well, nearly, because it's just funny going in and out like this, going in inside of a machine. And it was quite because I just kept thinking the most weirdest and worst scenarios of being in a machine. So I was just like, okay, so this is happening. And then they were like, "Yeah, you can go wait now." So then me and my mum went back to the waiting room in the seahorse ward, and they were like, "Yeah, so we'll give you your news when we find out if there's anything wrong." And I was there for like an hour, only to find out that I was fine. There was nothing on my x-rays. My head seemed fine. So I was like, okay, so there's nothing on there's nothing on the scan, but it doesn't explain my headaches, so help. So I thought that was it then, that was the end of it. And then when we got up to leave, this other nurse came up to us and she was like, "Come back on Monday." So this is the Friday, because I went to the eye clinic in the hospital on the Thursday. I came back the next day, which is this day, on the Friday. So they were like, "Yeah, come back on Monday to have lumbar punctures." I didn't know what that was. And maybe some of you don't either. And then I was told, and the play nurse was like, "Brooke, don't Google it. Whatever you do, do not Google what this is. When you come back on Monday, I'll be here. We can have a talk. It'll be fine." I've never been more scared. It's a needle in your spine, in your spinal cord, in your back. Why is that a thing? Okay, so I was told what it was. I started freaking out. I wanted to know what it was, so I left the hospital, got on a bus with my mum for the way home, Googled it. Stupid thing to do. Don't Google things. I was having a full-on like panic attack. I was like, I hate needles. I was worrying about bloods. Also, did not get my bloods done. They peeled it off and my hands were like white and then they burnt. Didn't have my bloods done. And I thought I was let off then, and then I was like, no, you're getting a needle instead in your back. Super happy. So the next 2 days were full of anxiety, absolutely terrified. Worst thing was, I was meant to start revising because after this I had my mock exams, which are my fake exams. So I was getting really stressed, really upset. I didn't know what to expect. I was having constant anxiety attacks. But the one thing that made it feel better was when I went on Monday, my dad's mum, which is my nan, would be there. And I don't get to see her that often, so having her there to support me was a really lovely gesture. So this time, my dad has taken me. So far I've had my sister and her fiance, then my mum, now my dad, taking me to hospital. So the day arrived, I was wearing this shirt. That was weird that I chose to do this video with the shirt. So yeah, I was wearing this jumper that day. I'm getting like a bit nervous just thinking about it. I was in leggings, this shirt, and I was at hospital. So I walked in, sat in the waiting room, then they called me and my dad in for observations in the same room. We were in the seahorse ward once again. So did the same thing, weight, height, blood pressure. Then they pulled up the back of my shirt, numbed it with numbing cream and put on that plastic bit to keep it on. Then I went into the waiting room again, played some Uno because the play nurse gave me and my dad some cards. My nan arrived. Soon enough, they were like, yeah, it's time. So I was really scared. By this point, the play nurse had explained what was going to happen in detail for me. So I was taken into the room that I'd be having them in, which is the room next to the room that I had the cream put on. So I think my brace is a bit undone. Anyway, they laid me down. I met the doctor who was going to do it. There were some nurses. I had the play nurse in there because she was going to play my favourite song at that time, and she's going to talk to me and distract me. And then I was I had my nan in there. I had a choice to have either my dad or my nan, so I chose to have my nan in there because she came all this way to support me, so I was like, okay, yeah, I'll have her in there with me. So they laid me down. You have to be in a very specific position. You either have to be sat up like this with, I think, your legs tucked in, and you have to have your head down because you've got to stretch your back so your spine could be seen. Instead I decided to lay down with my legs tucked up, bent forward, because I knew if I was sat up that gave me more of a chance to flinch, and if you flinch, obviously the needle could easily do the wrong thing, paralyze you. So I was like, okay, I was really scared. I had one hand up like this, holding on to my nan's hand, and the other hand, I think, was holding on to the plate nurse. They gave me a gas and air, which they left by my mouth, so if I needed it, I could just go like this on my neck and have some. The only thing that comforted me was the fact that my back was numbed on the surface. Then they were like, yeah, we'll give you some more anaesthetic with a needle. So they laid me down, pulled up my shirt, curled up into a ball. My song was playing, my anxiety was rising, and then I felt the tiniest prick where they put the anaesthetic, and then my whole back was numbed. On the inside and on the outside. So they started feeling me. I was like, you got to feel for the bone and stuff. And they started getting me to take in the gas and air to relax me, and I was pretty much quiet. I was staring into the distance, or I had my eyes closed. And if the reason why they were doing the lumbar puncture is they insert a really long needle and then they take out some spinal fluid, and it's like a long tube attached to the needle, and it slowly fills up with your spinal fluid. And I'm probably wrong about this, but I think when it comes out, it's measuring the pressure of it. So they were measuring the pressure. However, my lumbar puncture did not go to plan. I remember I was a bit dazed, and I just saw the doctor from behind me lean over me and go, "Your back's not shearing." I was like, okay. So my back wasn't given any spinal fluid. So what they told me was they pulled up the needle, put it back in like a different place, and they had done basically 2 lumbar punctures without me knowing. They said, nothing's happening, and they were like, how about we can either stop now, you come back in a few weeks and we try again, or you can wait an hour, we'll get a more specialised doctor to come down and do it, and we'll give it another go. So because of all the anxiety, and I was like, that wasn't too bad. I was basically dazed. I couldn't feel anything that badly. I could feel like it being shoved in. That is odd saying. I could feel the needle going in my back, but it wasn't the worst. It was just really uncomfortable. But I had Kelly, the play nurse, talking to me, so I was like, okay, not too bad. I'm distracted. I had my nan going, yeah, you're doing good, it's all good. So I sat up soulfully. Obviously you're going to be in a lot of discomfort and pain from having your spine jabbed. So I sat up, my dad came in to check on me. I didn't move that much. Before I sat up, I was basically frozen, and they were like kept like going, are you okay? Like, yeah. And then finally I sat up. Then me and my dad left. We went to the concourse of the hospital, where we sat down, ate something, had a bit of a drink. I was like I was so tired, and we sat outside, and I was going like this, like aching. I was like, oh my god, I don't like it. And then the hour was over. I was like, let's do this. I wasn't that scared because it already happened, and I was really numb, and at this point they had put more numbing stuff on my back. Oh hello. They'd already put more numbing stuff on my back, so I was like, okay. So here we go again. I met the other doctor. They laid me down, started checking my sides again, but this time I started laughing. The first time I wasn't laughing, I was dead still. This time I was laughing because it was tickling me so much. And then this point my nan had to go, so it was my dad with me this time, though I couldn't see him. The play nurse put on Dan and Phil for me to watch. She held my hand. I started doing gas and air, and this felt like a longer time. So they did more anaesthetic through the needle. However, when they started doing the lumbar puncture, I could feel it. It wasn't like I could feel it, but what I'm about to say does make sense. But first I want to say that when I was taking in some gas and air, I felt like I'd taken too much, because it was like a really weird moment. My vision, it seemed to go dark navy blue with like waves. It was like wavy, like a vision of waves, and it felt like I couldn't breathe. I felt like I was going and I just remember hearing the play nurse go, you got just take in more gas and air, it's gonna be okay, just take in more gas and air. So I was just going trying to breathe, and then I remember going, I can't breathe, and then I took some more gas and air and I was fine. Anyway, so all of a sudden I started going like flinching. I started flinching, which is not good, not safe. So I started going, and she was like, come on, just take in more gas in here, because she knew that would help. And I think I started crying at this point. Yeah, I had started getting upset. I started crying because I could feel it. I could feel the needle moving and going in, and it was just not nice, and it was really horrid. It was the most scariest moment of my life, and I hated it. So soon it was over, and they were like, we've got the fluid, it's coming out. And then they stopped, pulled the needle out, and then they pushed it all away, and they took it off for testing. But I was like out of it. I was awake, but at the same time I felt like I wasn't. I remember the feeling. I remember just staring at the wall again, but it wasn't like the first time. I think because for me, I felt like I took a lot of gas in it. I was told that I barely took any, but I remember having really big puffs every 2 minutes, so I don't understand how I didn't barely get through the canister, but I remember I just felt really out of it. I was like this. And I remember the doctor going, Brooke, can you poke your tongue out for us? Because they wanted to make sure I was awake. And I kept asking, but I was just, sorry, camera cut out. But he grabbed my shoulder, looked at me and went, you're obese. What? He was showing me this piece of paper that had this like a graph on it, and it said boy then girl, and it says there's like a line of, like at the bottom was the ages, and then it was like what a person's weight should be at a certain age. They said my weight is slightly over average weight, and this means that I'm obese. And obviously as a teenage girl, didn't take that very well, but I tried to not cry or get upset, so I just listened to what he had to say. From my perspective, I kept zoning out, so this is what I got from it. Behind my eyes are swollen, and behind our eyes we have these perfect discs. Okay, ignore those, they are not perfect. So we have these perfect discs behind my eyes, but instead my eyes, behind my eyes, are like this. Okay, so that's what's behind my eyes. Slightly blurry. Okay, so blurry, swollen, and because of that, it can, if my whole discs behind my eyes, or whatever's behind my eyes, goes fully blurry, so like that, like blurriness of the century, it means I could go blind. Okay, and they said something like my weight is out of line with my height. Because of this, I have developed a condition called idiopathic intracranial hypertension, and this is where my spine is making too much fluid, and because of that it's putting pressure on my brain, causing the headaches, but the brain is putting pressure on my eyes, which is making them turn blurry. So the only thing I can do is to lose weight to stop my back from creating so much fluid, which then stops pressure being on my brain, which stops putting pressure on my eyes, and then I will be blind. It's not like I'm going to turn blind in like a month from not losing weight. Is something in my far future that can happen if I do not lose weight, and once I lose weight I've got to maintain it. So I found out that I have a condition, idiopathic intracranial hypertension, which I will have for the rest of my life unless I lose weight. I was also told that I'll always deal with the headaches, and I'll always deal with the condition. Time skipping, my life changed a lot from that moment on. I have to walk home from school. I'm not allowed to have as much sugar as I was previously having, which honestly was not a lot at all. Then on a Wednesday I had a checkup at the hospital again. I met this doctor, they did observations, and I was asking a few questions as like, is it possible I can go blind? They said not really. So I was being told two different things. They were like, it can happen in the future, it's not going to happen now, you just got to lose weight, you can't gain any more weight because then you'll keep creating the fluids. And I found out that I would have to have regular lumbar punctures. It wasn't that she said that in those direct words, she said we might start you on daily medication, and it's just easier than having regular lumbar punctures. And they were like, we might do your bloods today to check how things are going. I had my weight done again. They said that I've lost weight, not much, but I'm losing it and I'm going in the right direction. Family and friends have been saying I look thinner. Super happy. So yeah, however things got worse mentally. The first few days I found out about this condition, I didn't take it seriously. I don't know why, it just didn't feel real, it just didn't feel important, it just didn't feel like it was an issue. And then after a few days it really started hitting me what was going on. It was more real, it was more scary. It it started putting things into perspective. I love food, so I can't eat that. I really want to be a mother when I'm older, but obviously you gain weight naturally from that. Can I have kids? So it's put everything into perspective. So then I had the doctor's appointment and they were like, yeah, you can just take ibuprofen, paracetamol, which really upset my mum because obviously taking so much painkillers like ibuprofen and paracetamol can really damage your liver. So she was like, is that safe? Is it okay to do that? And I actually had to take 2 ibuprofen before the video because I started having a headache and I knew sitting in front of the ring light would make it worse. It definitely comes on stronger in front of light or when I'm stressed. Really stressed gets my head really hurting, and it's still on this side. I guess I was really hesitant to talk about this because of the obese part, because no one deserves to be called that word. And I know it's a proper term, but no one should be called that word. And if you are overweight, there's so many reasons to it. Like, you never know what goes on in someone's life. So if you see a person walking down the street and they're bigger than you or they're bigger than most, you don't know why they are like that. You don't know. It could be something mental, like an eating disorder, or worries that cause you to overeat. It can be a gene, it can be something in your blood. I know there's a thing called, I don't know what the name is, but there's something that makes your weight gain and then drop and then drop some more, then gain, and it's not nice. You never know what's going on in someone's life, and it can be dangerous because it can be really unhealthy, and I just don't think it's fair to call someone by that term, because it doesn't, calling someone obese, it doesn't define them as, it's like you're defining everything about them with one word. It's like, it's just not a nice word, and I was just really embarrassed about it because I've always had problems with my weight. I really hated it, and I always had issues. Like most people would feel insecure about their body. That's me. And getting told that I was classed as obese because I'm overweight was hurtful and embarrassing, because then I'd have to, it was just embarrassing because there was other people in the room at the time and they were just like, yeah, so this is your problem, it's your weight. It's just odd and different, and I don't know, it was just really degrading, because it isn't a pleasant word. Because I was talking about this in a live stream about how people get classed because of obesity. People make it a bad word, and that's just not nice. It was just a term at one point. Now it's just like, oh yeah, haha. But no, everyone is beautiful. That's what I want people to take from this video, that everyone is beautiful no matter what they say. Not about me, but about other people. If you are overweight, don't think of it as being obese. Think of it as having more beauty to you, having more of this amazing part of you. Like, think of it as that. Don't think of it as what people think of, that a lot of people think of. So yeah, quick overall of this video. I got a condition called idiopathic intracranial hypertension, and I'm not going to let it control my life. Well, most of it. I still got to lose weight. But it's sort of a wake-up call for me to lose weight. And it's going to be great because it's going to get me out of the house more. It's going to make me try healthier foods, and it's going to be a lot different, and it's going to make a difference in my health. Anyway, thank you all for watching. Please subscribe, please like, please go follow my Instagram, Brookella Art, and thank you all so much for watching. I love you so much. Thank you for listening to my story, and it was lovely talking to you all. Bye.